how old were you when you got interested in photography?
Probably about 5, because my grandpa, George, had a darkroom in his basement in a house in Alton, and I would go down there and watch him develop stuff, and it seemed very magical, so...
Oh, you actually got to go in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I remember him doing, like they belonged to this Eagles Club.
Okay.
Which, that kind of thing doesn't exist, I guess, anymore. But they would have parties there, you know.
Yeah.
It was a place down in Alton, just a building, said Eagles Club.
You probably had dances and stuff.
But he was a member there, so he would go and take pictures, but then he would do, like, copies for everybody. So if he had a picture, he would do 20 prints of it.
Wow.
And then give it to the people at the club. So I would be down there and we'd be doing like multiple prints of whatever couple he shot dancing or whatever.
I remember going in the dark room, but I never was in there like when he was processing photos.
And it was a real like 50s lime green color. Like the darkroom is a color that just doesn't exist in like the natural world kind of.
I just remember the little pin-ups that were cut out on the wall.
Well, and he had the early Playboy pin-ups from the 50s.
Okay.
They were all along the wall too.
Did he cut out some little ones?
He cut out all, there were naked women abound in the darkroom.
See, that was the thing. I don't ever remember them being naked. They always had like just fun little lingerie on.
Well, in the 50s, like in the early Playboys, it was all like silhouettes. They were naked, but it was mostly like butt shots or side boob.
Okay.
So they weren't real explicit, and a lot of times they had something sheer over it where you could see through it, but it was just... So yeah, it was a different time. But no, they were Playboy centerfolds.
Okay.
Like they were just like the really early ones that weren't very graphic.
So from 5 to when did you get your first camera?
I don't... Trying to think. I think my first camera that was mine was a Swinger, which was these self-developed, you take a picture and you would peel it off like black and white. But even before that, I became the camera person. I would want to take, like Mom and Dad had Instamatics.
Yeah.
Remember Instamatics?
With the big flash cube on the end.
And the film came in like cassettes. You would just pop it in and close the back, and it would, and go and it would be ready to go. So I just wanted to be the camera guy.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the Polaroid Swinger probably was my first camera that was mine, maybe 5th or 6th grade.
And then from there...
Meet the Swinger, Polaroid Swinger. Of course, I remember the commercial jingle.
Because you loved ads.
But that was the jingle for it. Meet the Swinger. And that was like magic, Hey, you don't have to develop. You just take it and peel it, and there it is,
Yeah.
That was pretty cool back then.
I think by the time it got to me, it was the Polaroid...
SX70
would come out that
was the Polaroid SX70.
Oh, okay.
And that was when that was when you didn't have to peel anymore. You would shake.
Oh.
Shake like a Polaroid picture, like the song.
Okay.
And
then in high school you started taking.
And then Grandpa gave me an old Praktica 35 millimeter that you would look down. So that was probably 7th grade. So that was when I started doing my own developing here.
Oh.
I would do it on the toilet. I would put the enlarger on the toilet, and then I had the trays in the bathtub, and I would, I would be on my knees, and I would do I would do the enlarger thing on the toilet, and then I would dip them in the trays in the bathtub.
And how old were you?
7th grade.
Okay.
Wow.
Like I have a picture of my mom with a bouffant, that black and white photo. That was 7th grade bathroom photography.
And then did you take pictures in junior high for...
And then once I got into high school, we didn't have junior high.
Okay.
There was no yearbook.
Okay.
But once I became a freshman, that was a senior thing. To be in the yearbook, you had to be a senior, but I was a freshman and got in to be in the yearbook. I think because Miss Estes and I loved each other.
Oh, okay.
And Hutch they were
Yeah.
like sponsors.
Oh, okay.
So I think
You got
I
in
just
with
always
those
tried to
guys.
work the system. And
Yeah.
So yeah, because if you were a photographer, you didn't have to have a hall pass.
Oh.
I could just be out. I mean, there was a certain freedom with that I really liked, because you could always just say you're doing something. So yeah, that was good.
So when did you start working for like Paul? You worked at the Southwestern Journal, right?
Yeah, I
With
so I
Paul
would
Hill?
shooting for the yearbook. I would shoot the basketball games and stuff, and I think he was at one of those games and saw me shooting. I think I was 15,
Okay.
and then he offered me a job,
Oh, okay.
and then I shot. Cordy's and I went canoeing, and I told him, yeah, we're going. I don't even know how that happened, but I told him we're going canoeing, and he's like, write a story, and give me a picture. So that was my first published picture. Was Matt Cordy rolling a joint. I still have it. You can't tell he's rolling a joint, but you can clearly see he's holding a baggie, and it's marijuana. It's an old
Wow.
baggie.
And it got published in the paper?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a bunch of kids, we're
Yeah.
just hanging out. But yeah, at the time, no one would have known what that was.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Nobody knew like the word marijuana here was not.
Okay.
They were the first ones to bring it to Southwestern, kind of.
The Cordys?
Yeah. We were the first pot smokers at even as a freshman, like I was they were the ones that brought it to that school. It just
Oh.
wasn't there before. Through the
Wow.
Matlocks and through
Yeah.
all that.
Wow.
So yeah, we kind of brought marijuana in there. But yeah, that was my first picture of us canoeing, and I wrote the story, which I'm the worst writer in the world, so I don't even
And you were
remember.
15?
Yeah, probably
freshman?
15.
Wow.
And
So what-
then I worked for Paul. I would just string kind of occasionally. And then I guess junior year I'd started the work program thing.
Okay. And then that was like your part-time job, was working for the Southwestern Journal.
Yeah. Which was almost a full-time job, really.
Yeah.
It was 4 hours a week, and then Tuesdays we would work from like 12 to 2 in the morning sometimes,
And then
because we put the paper together.
from there you started working for various papers
Yeah.
after that.
Yes, I didn't have a college degree, so every paper you had to have a college degree to get a job, so it was always hard for me to get my foot in the door.
So you never worked for the Telegraph, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you did work for the Telegraph.
Well, the Telegraph, it was all one system eventually, like the
Right.
journals, the Telegraph. But yeah, I did stuff for the Telegraph.
Oh, you did. Okay.
But that wasn't my office.
Okay. How did you get to the suburban journals? Was it through that things becoming a network kind of thing?
No, I don't even remember how I knew they were hiring. But I know no one would ever hire me, so I just went down and I didn't have a professional portfolio, but I had a big stack of stuff, and I went down and the editor was Dennis Grubaugh, and it was one of the only times in my life I was like super assertive,
Yeah.
and I said, I'm your guy, I'm not going to leave till you hire me,
Wow.
and just, it was like that, and
Yeah.
I was real like pushy,
Wow.
and I got hired, so.
Wow.
Because he's like, you can have a degree, you have to have a college degree, and
Wow.
because you just had to have one to work for a newspaper.
And how long did you work there?
85 till, well, then I still worked for the journals, but I just went to different papers, kind of. But I was in Alton from like 85 to 88, maybe.
Okay.
And then I think I moved to Belleville in 88 to work for that system.
And you were there for like
Till the journals
30
closed.
30 years or
21 years. I think.
21 years?
Wow.
Okay. And so how's your work changed now? I mean, what are you doing now? now that papers are kind of folded everywhere and...
Yeah, they died. And then, I mean, staffs went from like a staff of 12 to a staff of 3 photographers. Like the Post probably had 12, and I think maybe they have 4 full-time guys now. So everything was shrank. And I was in my 50s.
Yeah.
And that's a young person's job, kind of, because the hours are crazy and stuff. So yeah, nobody was hiring me. I couldn't even get hired at McDonald's, kind of, for a while. Like Joel went through that, where you just think, oh, I'm a loser. You know, I mean, you just think, I mean, you do. You kind of know you're not, but you just get really demoralized because, like, no one won't, McDonald's won't even hire me. I don't know.
Wow.
So I was kind of, what Joel was going through, I was very, like, empathetic because I know exactly how you feel. Like, but yeah, so papers were dead, so I sprang for anybody I could and had to do other jobs.
Yeah.
But over the years, like, lawyers became kind of a good business, doing things for lawyers, events and lawyer publications. And then the last 6 years, the drag thing popped up, and I've never probably been happier in all that. So
I remember the bike ride we were on, where we were over in Belleville, and you said, like, I got this idea, like it might be a good niche idea to maybe take pictures of drag queens.
Yep.
And
yeah, Corey was the first person I mentioned that to. I thought, and he always talks about how that, I remember when you said that.
Yeah, we talked about it on a bike ride. You were saying, I think it might be a good niche to get into, to do stuff. But I think at the time you didn't know that they didn't have a lot of money either, the drag queens.
Well, and it hasn't been that lucrative, but everything else about it has been, like, great for me.
Yeah.
My social life and just great friends and, like a family.
Yeah.
So
they've kind of become your community.
Yes, they definitely are.
Turned into a very meaningful thing.
Yes, I love them.
And they love you.
And not, besides all that, some of the best pictures I've ever taken.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel that it's something I'm good at now. And
it's fun to watch you.
I'm very confident. Where a lot of times in photography, I would have to fake the confidence.
Yeah.
And I don't. I'm not faking this. So.
Yeah.
So.
You've gotten really good at giving people direction on what to do.
Yes, that was a hard thing for me to learn or to do. But because in newspapers, you're always hiding. You're in the background.
Yeah.
You don't want to be seen,
Yeah.
You just want to record what's going on.
Yeah.
So that was a different step, Now it's all about direction and collaboration and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Very rewarding and pleasurable. So.
On the vacation, when we were doing all the pictures, I told somebody, turn this other way. You're losing your arm. Lost arm. Can't see that arm. And they said, oh, we can tell who you've been hanging around with.
Oh,
You've been spending time with Uncle Terry when he's taking pictures.
Yeah, 2 things, that arm and chin up. Everybody wants to do this.
Yes.
And it's a great picture of your neck.
Yeah, I was trying to do that thing that you taught me, and I think I was doing the neck up thing, and Paul was making
Well, just
fun
everybody thinks if they do that, it gives them a great chin, but it makes your face this big and your neck this big.
Yeah. You're
it's
trying
like,
to tell me
your Adam's apple is beautiful.
do the chicken thing or something.
Yes, chin, chin level and stick it out.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. It's getting hot in here.
Sweating like a pig.